So students, we have seen that how moving air is causing wind, and that wind is helping us to getting the evaporation, and that unfortunately we are getting rain out of it because the water vapors that get up, that is the moving air. Okay, so that brings us back the rain, and that rain is going to be mixed up with the soil and getting the nutrients in it, and that nutrients, when we drink water, it get into us. This is how the balance between the living organisms and non-living things get balanced. This is the biosphere. So air is very important, and let's us now discuss various components of airs, that is the breath of life. Yes, so this is here we can say that air's major part, maximum part is covered with by nitrogen gas, that is 78%, and at the second position this is the oxygen, that is 21%, and that remaining 1% is covered up by the other gases and carbon dioxide. So it is, that is showing by this graph, okay, pie chart. Now you supposingly get confused that ma'am, why we are having nitrogen in such a big amount? Why don't we are having the oxygen? Is nitrogen very important for us too? So let us take them one by one. Okay, so here let us see what is nitrogen and how it is helping us. First of all, it is utilized to create neutral atoms like proteins, okay, that natural atoms, and that is used by plants and animals. Now, oxygen, it is utilized by the creatures to breathe and used by the plants and animals. Now, let us cover up the nitrogen part first. Let me tell you, nitrogen is around about 78%, that is the availability part, you know that. Okay. So, what is the use of that 78% now? First use is that it is making the major part of the protein that is utilized by all of us. Okay, we all are made up of protein. Protein are the building blocks. They are the building blocks of us. Okay, ऐसे नहीं होगा कि प्रोटीन नहीं है और हम लोग जिंदा हैं. If you are eating a lot of carbs only, okay, so how your body will grow up? Each and every muscles that is in our body and in the plant's body are made up of protein only, and that protein build-ups, blocks, or we can say, are using the energy that is defined by other food products. Okay, so nitrogen is the main character, or we can say main atom, or we can say main component in the protein chain. Okay, protein chain is very big here, like this. It is a like carbon hydrocarbon chain only, in which one of the nitrogen substitution is there. That nitrogen could be here, could be here, could be here, depending upon the type of protein. If protein is complex, if protein is simple, so it depends upon the nature of protein. Protein is not just like a single type. If it was, अगर protein सब same तरह का ही होता, तो हम सबकी शक्लें एक जैसी होती, हम सब पेड़ की जैसे भी दिख सकते थे. तो there are different variety of proteins that is in the trees, that is in the humans, but we can say that yeah, there is a similar kind of protein at a time. Why? Because हम सब मसल्स की भी बने, सबके पास मसल्स है, दो शक्ल डिफरेंट है. That is because of DNA. DNA itself is a type of protein. DNA खुद भी एक प्रोटीन ही है. Okay, so you can say that DNA is an example of protein, one of the example. But there are various proteins that are making the building blocks जिससे हम पूरे बने हुए हैं. तो वो नाइट्रोजन है, और ये नाइट्रोजन जब बॉडी के अंदर आता है वो डायरेक्टली तो आएगा नहीं. सो इवन प्लांट्स आर नॉट टेकिंग इट डायरेक्टली. जैसे कि प्लांट्स हैं, they all are having leaves and nitrogen is here in lot of amount, but still they are not taking nitrogen through their leaves. They are taking it through their roots. Why? How? Okay, leaves are not having that much of function that absorbing the nitrogen gas. They are just having the absorption of carbon dioxide gas, and that is utilized by it. But nitrogen is actually getting mixed into the soil, and when we are watering the plants, so this nitrogen get up and absorbed by the roots. Now these roots are carrying it to the each and every tissue of this plant. This is how this plant going to be taller day by day. इसीलिए बोला जाता है कि जब आप किसी मनी प्लांट को भी ट्राई कर लेना घर पे, when you are putting a money plant in the bottle of water only and one of the money plant in the soil, so both of them will grow up even by the fact, but the one who is growing in the soil will be growing more faster and will have more greeny leaves compared to the one which is growing in the water. Even it is going to be increased because somehow water is also having a small part of nitrogen that is mixed in it, but soil is maximally is having a lot of nitrogen, and if it is not, then only we can say that plant is not going to be grow. And when the plants are taking the nitrogen like this, so now when we are eating fruits of it, when we are eating different vegetables of it, so we are also getting this one. इसीलिए कहते हैं प्रोटीन युक्त खाना खाना भी चाहिए, मतलब हमारा जो बेसिकली फूड है उसमें कार्ब्स एंड प्रोटीन्स दोनों इक्वली अमाउंट में परफेक्ट रेशियो में होना चाहिए. Okay, so this is used by mainly plants and animals to build up their body buildings. Okay, so this was the one reason, but there is one more reason why the nitrogen is very important, just to create pressure in the environment. You know that this 78% is a lot of amount. That big amount is going to help us to produce such a pressure here in the environment. You know that we are living on the earth and that is having certain atmosphere, and now this atmosphere is having maximum number of nitrogen molecules that are actually not so much reactive. ये इतना ज्यादा रिएक्टिव भी नहीं होते हैं, तो बल्क में तो है प्रेजेंट. अब क्या करेंगे, जो ऑक्सीजन है इनको ये पुश करेंगे, प्रेशराइज करेंगे. अगर नाइट्रोजन को आप रिड्यूस कर दो या नाइट्रोजन को पूरा हटा दो यहाँ से, ठीक है, तो जितनी भी ऑक्सीजन प्रेजेंट होगी यहाँ पर हमारे अर्थ सरफेस पे एटमॉस्फेयर में, दैट इज नॉट हैविंग दैट मच प्रेशर कि हम इजीली ब्रीथ कर सके. लाइक वी आर ब्रीदिंग राइट नाउ, वी आर इजीली ब्रीदिंग, वी आर नॉट टेकिंग इट हार्डली. हमें जोर नहीं लगाना पड़ रहा है सांस लेने में. क्यों? बिकॉज एयर इज हैविंग अ प्रेशर एंड दैट प्रेशर इज गिविंग आउट ऑन द एयर. दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ नाइट्रोजन एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी आर इनहेलिंग वेरी इजीली ऑल द गैसेस. एंड when we are inhaling, it is not like some students are having misconception that we are just inhaling the oxygen gas only. Not like that. We are inhaling all of the gases that is available in the atmosphere, but the only thing that is going to be like all the gases are going to our lungs also, but oxygen is the only thing that is going to react with our blood. Rest of the gases, because they are having neutral conditions and because they are not so beneficial for us, so our body get rejected. Even they are not very poisonous, they are not poisonous gases. That is why it is easy for us to take in and we can breathe easily. Okay, now coming to the oxygen part. So basically oxygen is useful to breathe, you know, it is utilized by the creatures to breathe. Even the water creatures take oxygen in the form of H2O and they breathe it, like they are having gills, so they take water in with their mouth and they are having gills. So the gills are used to separate the hydrogen part from the like पानी में से ही वो gases को remove कर देते हैं. Oxygen they take, hydrogen they get removed. So this is very easy for them. Okay, and it is used by both the plants and animals. Our plants are actually making the oxygen, so they thrown out it to the atmosphere, and now we are readily used to use this oxygen. Also, without oxygen we are not able to combust anything, so it is helping us in combustion process also. If oxygen is not available, कुछ भी चीज burn नहीं हो सकती है. So it is a supporter of flaming, we can say that. For a various ignition, you know that you have learned that in chemistry part also. किसी चीज को जलाना है, आपको burn करना है, so particularly you need three things for it. One, the item you need to burn. Second, the oxygen, that is the supporter of burning, and the third is the ignition temperature, that minimum temperature that is used to lighten up the thing. So we can say for the combustion process also oxygen is very much useful. So this is how nitrogen and oxygen part here are done. Let us move forward to the next parts. Now students, let us see carbon dioxide. What is the functioning of it? Utilized by the plants during photosynthesis, and it has the numerous marine creatures use carbonate, and that is broken into the ocean and make their shells. Okay, so let me explain these two things to you. Now first of all, let us see the photosynthesis thing. You all are familiar with the photosynthesis. That is the basic process for the plants to make their food. You know what they need for it? They need carbon dioxide, they need water for it, and in the presence of sunlight and the chlorophyll, they will make glucose and liberate oxygen. Yes? So this is the basic equation of photosynthesis, you know. So carbon dioxide plus water. Water they get from the roots and carbon dioxide from the air. Okay. Now in the presence of sunlight, because sunlight is needed to heat up the thing. जैसे हम भी खाना घर में जब बनाते हैं तो we need raw materials. Like mama को vegetables चाहिए होती है. So raw materials are these two things like CO2 and H2. And now for cooking purpose, we need the gas, we need the flame for making it heat up. So for that plants use sunlight. Nice. Now sunlight and the kitchen area. What is the kitchen area of the plants? Like we prepare our food in the kitchen, in the same manner, plants are going to prepare their food in a particular area of the cell that is known as chlorophyll, and that is basically green pigment. Okay, and this is why here all the leaves are of green colors. So chlorophyll is a kitchen area, we can say, of the plants. At this place now, what we have product, the place, the thing that we need to receive at the end, that is the glucose. Now this is the energy source. जब हम खाना खाते हैं, then only we are getting energy. So that energy in us is actually in the form of glucose also. Like here in human beings and other animals, we are converting the raw materials, and our body, whatever we are eating, this is ultimately going to be as the glucose part. This is going to be used as glucose. Now here also directly plants are making the glucose and they are utilizing it for the energy source. Now plants are also having the energy. But one thing that is extra in it, that is oxygen. And that oxygen is going to be liberated through the leaves. Leaves are having small pores. You know what we call that? Stomata. I hope that you have read that in biology. So stomata is the small pores that is present on the leaves. Now that leaves are liberating oxygen. And that oxygen is get used by the other creature, other animals that are living on this planet. This is how, see the strange thing, that how our earth planet get into the life. See the balancing part. This is how we are balanced, and this is the reason we are having the life on this planet. Now, see, numerous marine creatures are also using carbon dioxide to make carbonates. Carbonates are like carbon dioxide, but they are basically the last part, extension part. We can say that here the anion part of any particular formula will be this one. Now, this will help you to make the carbonate, and carbonate is very strong. You know, calcium carbonate is a formula, CaCO3. So that is what? This is carbonate, calcium carbonates. You can make various carbonate forms, various carbonate compounds like this. So here in ocean, different animals are present that make their shell. Like you can say the स्नेल्स और जो छोटे छोटे से जीव होते हैं जो मिलते हैं हमें, स्नेल ही बोलते हैं उन्हें, जो ओशन बीचेस पे मिलते हैं. Okay, lots of creatures that are living in the ocean are getting to protect themselves through the big creatures, like sharks और बहुत बड़ी बड़ी जो fishes होती है, उनसे अपने आप को protect करने के लिए they cover themselves with the shells. Okay, that shells here, you see this shell? So that shell is made up of the carbonate compounds. Okay, so here for that purpose they also need carbon dioxide, and that is why I can give you the most famous example. You know that the coral reef. Okay, coral reef is basically what? It is basically the carbonate making shells of the animals. Earlier these animals were living into the pores of it, and then we can say that it is a sort of animal, but it is at the stationary position in which the thing is living inside of it, but it is covered with the hard shell of it that is made up of carbonate to protect itself. And that coral reef you can see at beaches also, and somewhere in movies also, and here we are having in the Indian Ocean, we are having a biggest coral reef that is crossing from the Australian part and extended to the Indonesia, till the Indonesia part. Okay, that is the biggest coral reef, we can say trench, that is found on the planet till date. Okay, so these all things shows that how carbon dioxide is also very important for us, though it is very less in amount. बहुत ही कम amount में है और तब भी इतना useful है. So plants are basically using these carbon dioxide, and they are using it properly and giving us the lot of oxygen, and that lot of oxygen are very useful for us.